The story goes as follows. A young man traveled overseas to pursue a bachelor's degree. This was his first time away from his family, and he relished the newfound freedom. Back home, he couldn't enjoy the social interactions he desired, but now, in a country like England, he found himself in a mixed-gender university where casual conversations with women were the norm. The attraction to this new environment was immediate. Initially, he engaged in harmless activities like lunch outings and meetings. However, one fateful day, he attended a party and committed Zina, driven by emotion. The realization of his actions left him devastated. He felt lost, unable to seek guidance from anyone around him. Desperate, he booked a flight back to Saudi Arabia, his homeland. During a layover in Qatar, he visited a masjid and broke down in tears, feeling utterly ruined. Seeing a grown man cry so openly, one of Sheikh bin Baz's students approached him and asked what was wrong. The young man confessed his sin and expressed his desire to have the hudud punishment implemented on him as the only way to purify himself. The student reassured him, suggesting they return to Riyadh together to address the situation. Throughout the journey, the young man continued to weep, burdened by his guilt. The student advised him to stay home and wait for his call the next morning. When the student consulted Sheikh bin Baz about the situation, the sheikh advised against turning himself in. He emphasized that since the sin was hidden from others, it should remain so. Instead, the young man should seek forgiveness from Allah and turn to the Quran for guidance. The student relayed this message to the young man, whom we'll call Ahmed. He told Ahmed that death was an easy escape, but it wouldn't alleviate his pain. Instead, Allah wanted him to rectify his ways and draw closer to Him. Ahmed took this advice to heart. Over the next few days, he immersed himself in reading the Quran and praying regularly at the masjid. He never missed a single prayer in the masjid from that point on. After a couple of weeks, the student noticed several missed calls from Ahmed. Later, Ahmed's family called, urgently seeking the student's help. He agreed to visit after Isha prayers. Upon arriving at their home, he sensed something was wrong. Ahmed's father thanked him profoundly, leaving the student puzzled about what he had done. The father then explained that Ahmed had prayed Salat al-Isha that night and went to pray his sunnah prayers in his room. After a long time, they found him in Sujood, where Allah had taken his life. This story isn't about a man who was always righteous. Ahmed had committed one of the gravest sins in Islam, yet this was how Allah chose to take him. Inshallah, he will be resurrected while in sujood, a noble act. When it comes to pain and suffering, they only become negative if they create a barrier between you and Allah. However, pain can be a positive motivator if it brings you closer to Allah. Every person experiencing pain and suffering should understand this. It's not that Allah wants to punish you. Rather, it's a call from Allah. O my slave, come back to your Lord. This is a reminder that I want to bring you back to me. You have two choices. Use the pain as a catalyst to get closer to Allah, or do nothing and let it harm your faith.